Hi, my name is Evangeline Kupek. I am the director and set designer for Oedipus Revenant, which is a horror adaptation of Sophocles' Oedipus the Tyrant, and it will premiere in Tallahassee this October. Oedipus Revenant asks the question, is Oedipus undead? And through the course of the play, the characters all struggle with their own individual duties to the dead. Now, my production concept for this play is that the dead have been forgotten, the dead have been lost, but the dead never forget. Now, this concept not only fits the story of Oedipus Revenant, it also fits Polyphonic Bonsai's mission of community outreach. This season, we will be raising awareness through our shows of Tallahassee's local cemeteries, with the hope that we can cultivate our own community's duties to the dead and hopefully start to enact real change in the upkeep of our cemeteries. So, I'd like to take a couple moments to tell you about the set design I have, how our duties to the dead theme of Oedipus Revenant will be reflected in the set. And so you can see it being drawn here. We'd love to stage this in the round, or as you can see with the seats set in a more semi-round configuration. Now this configuration mirrors the ancient Greek theatrical setup of the orchestra, where the seats would have been in more of an amphitheater style and the playing space would have been circular. So this way it gives me a lot of fun things to try out with blocking and staging different things, and it also gives everybody a front row seat. Love that part. We'd love to get about 50 seats around the stage. In place of a set backdrop or of scenery in the back, we will have one piece of scenery, which is a projector screen, which you can see in the back there, and it will have a rear projector behind it so that no one has to walk in front of the stream of the light. And that will serve as our one set piece, our one distinguishing factor in where we are in different scenes. So, for instance, in the Temple of Apollo, we may have projected on the screen tapestries worshiping Apollo, or in the campfire scene when they're searching for Laius's grave, we may have a full moon that tracks over the course of the evening. The projector screen will also be a tool for different effects that we want to portray, like ghosts on stage. Well, we will have Laius as a tangible ghost on stage. We will have some other spirits that will present themselves via a Pepper's Ghost Illusion on the projector screen. We've done Pepper's Ghost Illusions before for The Fairmont Is Not Haunted. It's a practical effect that gets a really believable apparition on screen. We would film the Pepper's Ghost Illusion ahead of time, and then no matter what, every person in every seat gets a great view of the effect. So that one projector screen and projector get to become ghost effects, they get to become set changes, and scenery pieces. Apart from that, we also have downstage one of our main factors with our duties to the dead, and that is a grave. We will have Laius's unmarked grave on stage the entire play. And that will be a big pile of dirt downstage. You can see it being drawn in there with the skull on top. Through the course of the play, actually pretty early on, Monto and Tiresias search for Laius's grave, find it, and then through skull necromancy bring Laius's ghost back to life. That grave, that pile of dirt, is the grave. So once they unearth his remains, they will remain unearthed on stage the entire time as a constant reminder of our duties to the dead. Another reminder of those duties would be the memento mori we have in the back of the stage by the projector screen. Those are two coffins there, each holding a different dead body. Fake, of course. On your right, stage left side, we would have a coffin with a rich dead body in it. Someone who had died relatively healthy and at peace with his friends. This person would have been buried in a beautifully ornate coffin with pieces of gold over his eyes, with a crown of laurel, with a golden tablet on his chest. And then stage right, your left, we have an infected dead of Thebes, someone who died from the plague that is ravishing the city. And that person was treated very differently in death because of superstitions about the dead and about illness that were going on in Greece at the time. So here we have the infected dead and the signs of his masculismos. If you want to learn more about masculismos, check out our historical context video. So he will have his extremities tied to him on a masculismos amulet. Now, on stage left, our right, we see two thrones. Oedipus and Jocasta's thrones will be, they will appear to be a part of the actual seating for the audience, but they will be special thrones that we create for them so that during scenes they're not present for, they can actually be a part of the audience in those moments, which will be pretty neat. Now, also, you'll notice two obelisks further down stage left, which is to our right. Now, those obelisks are reminders of the dead, specifically of King Laius and of his son, but they're also false reminders because these obelisks don't actually represent where the dead were buried. They are reminders, but they are hiding secrets, political secrets about the injustice that was done to both Laius and Oedipus and that have been covered up over the years. So again, the dead have been lost, and the fact that they've been lost has been forgotten because the obelisks are there. But as we find out through the course of the play, both of these dead will come back. On stage right, our left, we will have an altar piece where Tiresias and Monto will make sacrifices to the gods. Now, this altar will be made out of plywood and will be given a finish to look like marble or stone. That finish could be done with a painting effect or with a really cool wallpaper that has a stone veneer on it. Under this altar, we will have either dry ice or a fog machine that will create both the smoke from the sacrifices and fog for our outdoor scenes. The final element of the set design is both an aesthetic piece and a practical piece. It will be an artificial campfire in the center of the stage and will be lit for the entirety of the show. So even during so-called blackouts, we will have the campfire burning. This fire will serve as a campfire for the outdoor scenes, but it will also serve as the hearth for the palace scenes. This campfire will also become an amazing light source during our apparition scene when Laius's ghost appears before the audience. So that's the set design for Oedipus Revenant. If you get a chance, do check out our other videos about the play's plot synopsis and historical context. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you here in October for Oedipus Revenant.